Most traders think that volume profile is really complicated and that they need 10 different setups. But in reality, all you need is a repeatable, rule-based system in order to find high probability setup. In this video, I'm going to show you the only volume profile strategy that you will ever need, how I find the daily bias, how I find the strongest levels to trade off, and how I use order flow to find precise entries. So let's dive right into it. First thing that I look at a chart when I have my volume profiles marked up is I look at the context of the market. Is it trending? Is it balanced? Where is the value shifting to? Is it going upwards? Is it going downwards? Is it staying inside of the same value area? This is the first thing that you need to check. So for that, we look at the volume profile of the RTH session of the regular trading hours session, and you can clearly see how the value is shifting downwards. This means one thing, that shorts could be a lot stronger than buy opportunities. That doesn't mean that we're not going to be focusing only on shorts. We can also find buy opportunities. In the end, we're scalpers. We don't need the biggest moves in the market. But once we find an opportunity to sell that is correlated with the context of the market and our bias, we can expect larger moves. So we can maybe have further targets and maybe wait a little bit longer to take partials as well. So first off here, you can see how the value is shifting lower, which means that we technically have more of a bearish bias. The next thing I look at is at the shapes of the volume profile. As you can see right here, I have the volume profile marked up from the previous day RTH session, and then I also mark out the volume profile of the overnight price action. Now there are three different types that we need to look at, keep in mind, and also understand. So we first of all have a D shape, then we also have a P shape, and we also have a B shape. And here we have already two examples. Here you see the P shape, which means the pressure is more to the upside. So there's a bigger chance for price to be more bullish than bearish. On the other hand, we have sort of a B shape right here. It's not the cleanest one, but it's sort of a B shape right here, where the pressure is more to the downside. So we can expect more moves to the downside. Now, when these two are aligning, our bias is very clear. When these two are not aligning, such in this case, then I don't really have a clear bias for the day. And I try to mainly look for small rejections, small break and retest, and not go for crazy targets. And here we have an example of more of a D shape kind of volume profile, where there's no real clear direction where the pressure is. It's not really showing more pressure to the downside or to the upside. Yes, we do have some lower volume over here, but generally speaking, this is more of a D shape than a B or a P shape. So this means the volume is more equally distributed. So I don't really have a clear bias for that day, unless the overnight session has a clear volume profile shape that we can expect where price might be going in the session. So as I said earlier, the only two volume profiles that I would mark out to trade day in, day out would be the previous day RTH volume profile, and I would also mark out the overnight session. Then I would look where the value area highs are, where the value lows are, how the volume has shifted from the previous days, and then I would finally look at the shapes of the volume profile. And since today, in this case, we know that the volume has shifted lower, we know that this is sort of a B shape, this is sort of a P shape. It's kind of a mixed signals for me today in this session. So basically what I would do is I would mark out value area high levels, and as you can see, the overnight value area high and the previous day value area high are aligning, which makes it even a stronger level. So I'll mark out this zone right here, and this would be a main zone for me to trade off, either for a break and a retest the upside, or again a breakdown of the level, a retest, and then a look for a move to the downside. The next level that I would mark out would be the value area low of the RTH session. And as you can see, the overnight value area low is inside of the value. So I would not mark out this level, as I don't want to be trading inside of the value of the RTH session, which is a common mistake that I've explained in my last video. The next thing that I do is I look where the New York session is going to be opening. Is it opening above the value area from the RTH session, or is it opening inside of the value? If it's opening outside, in this case, all I'll be doing is waiting for a retest of this level and look for longs. And as you can see, this happened multiple times where we had dips into this level and had nice reaction to the upside. So here you can definitely find some nice trades with the right order flow confirmation, which we'll get to in the next step. If price would have opened inside of the value, I would be looking for rejections of the value area high to target short. And if these sellers wouldn't hold and are not strong enough and the buyers are stepping in with huge orders, then I would just wait for a breakout, a retest, and an opportunity to the upside. So now that we have our levels marked out and our plan is clear, we're going to go take a look at the order flow and find potential entries to take long from this level. So here we are on NinjaTrader, which is my main platform where I use the order flow tools. You can see on this chart we have multiple green and red bubbles. These are basically the big trades where you can spot absorption. And if you hover over these bubbles, you can see the volume and you can see the buy volume, the sell volume, etc. So I use these big trades a lot for my entries. They're actually filtered out a lot of noise for me comparing to the Bookmap, where you can see thousands and thousands of bubbles flying up and down, left, right, and center. So that might be a little bit confusing for many people. And with this tool, with these big trades, very easy to cut out all the noise and just focus on the biggest players in the market. So we have our level right here, which is the value area high of the RTH session, which also aligned with the overnight one. So we're just waiting for dips into this level. All we need to do is wait for absorption and see big trades hitting this level, seeing that they actually cannot go further. So here at the market open, we can see this candle right here came into our level more or less. We can see the seller right here with 57 lots. It tried to go further down and it couldn't, it rejected, and the next candle was bullish. So this was already a potential entry. Now what I didn't like about this entry right here is that our stop loss had to be very big, because if we enter here at the close and we try to put our stop loss right below or below this seller right here, our stop loss has to be quite big. And yes, it's still possible to catch 2 or 3R. I just wasn't the biggest fan. Even after this move to the upside, I would have gone break even, so it would have been a break even trade anyways. But then eventually it came back to the entry and then went higher. So the first hour of the session was actually quite choppy and very slow. It was just slowly grinding up, making higher highs and higher lows. Not the cleanest price action. But then later on, price came back into this level a little bit deeper, swept this low, but there were no big trades, so I wouldn't have taken any trade. If there's literally no confirmation for me, I don't take a trade. So I technically miss out on a move, which I'm completely fine with. I'd rather miss out on a move than take unnecessary losses. And as you know, we don't have any other levels right now, so I'm just patiently waiting for price to hit my level. Then finally, a little bit later, about 3 hours into the session, price finally comes back into this level again, and we can see another big trade right here, a seller that couldn't go any further. You have this bullish engulfing right here that closed right above this seller, making sure this seller cannot go any further. So it looked like absorption to me. So this would be a great entry with giving your stop loss some room as well under these lows. And if you pull your stop loss tighter and you get wicked out, there's always another possibility to re-enter again as soon as price again closes above this big trade. So whether you enter here or here, your stop loss is going to be either smaller or bigger. That's just going to have a little impact on your risk to reward. All you can do is just follow the rules, see the clear buyers and sellers. In this case, it's a seller that is getting trapped. The buyers are not letting the seller push the price further down. So this is just a great entry with stop loss below, giving a little bit of room. What can you target? This is really subjective. You obviously have the VWAP that you can target. You have this buyer right here that you can target as well. You have another buyer a little bit higher. You can also target different M1 highs. Targets is a really subjective thing. I like to look at the orders in the market as well, and I look at VWAP. Everything for me is based around volume, so I really like to use big trades for targets as well as for entries. So this right here is a clean example of a nice level that we have found through volume profile. Just wait for price to come into our level, and then we need to see an order flow confirmation, which is a seller getting trapped with 42 lots on the sell side, and you can see 2 lots on the buy side. So obviously there's a big seller that was getting trapped. Buyers are not letting this seller push the price further down. You enter right here, give your stop a little bit of room, maybe target VWAP or the next buyer over here. And in about 15 to 20 minutes, you can get a 5R trade. Anyways, guys, this is how I trade on a day-to-day basis. I try to find the strongest levels in the market based on volume profile. I only look at 2-3 levels maximum every single day. If price doesn't come to any of my levels, I just don't trade. But usually that doesn't happen. It's always around my levels. And all I need to do is just wait for the proper confirmation. As you can see, I might miss out on some moves, which is totally fine. I'd rather miss out on a move following my rules than ignoring my rules and taking unnecessary losses. That obviously might work out once in a while, but I don't want to get into this bad habit of not following my rules. This is a very simple, rule-based and structured system that I use every single day. If you want to learn this one-on-one with me, I have a link in the description below, so make sure you check that out as well. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and if you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you in the next video.